Well, hey, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave, and I am ElliJare. It's March. It's Women's Appreciation Month, and we just had International Women's Appreciation Day. Me, being a huge fan of women, my mom, my wife, many of the best professional wrestlers right now happen to be women. I figured today would be a good of time as any to throw down some of those examples of fantastic women, both from the states and internationally. So, I mean, we've got to start with the significance of having a champion of a woman's division in a Japanese wrestling organization. Really? How awesome is that? So, congratulations to Mercedes Monet and winning that New Japan title, and just you know awesome from Kari Zane, which she's another fantastic example of a woman's wrestler, and not even just because she's a woman, but because she's a fantastic performer. And when we talk about performing, whether it's as a wrestler or as a sports entertainer, both of them, hands down, absolutely deliver. You have Io Sky, another Japanese wrestler who just freaking brings it. So athletic, so smooth, whether she's on the mat or in the air. You've got Asuka, who probably, you know, don't want to spoil anything, but I would venture to say she walks out your women's champion from WrestleMania. I'm willing to bet if they don't open night two, they'll probably be on night two. Um, you're going to have a main event on night one, if I had the pencil. An Australian woman, as Rhea Ripley is, against Charlotte Flair, who arguably is, the best woman's wrestler right now, or sports entertainer, however you want to call it. Um, but you keep going back to, you have some outstanding performers that just happen to be women. You have Taya Valkyrie, who is your women's champion in Mexico. She also holds an Impact title here in the States. Mickey James, who's been there, done that, probably got a couple T-shirts somewhere in a trash bag. Let's not bring up old stuff. Bailey, another one from San Jose. She was at the New Japan event that Mercedes won the world title. So I think that's super cool. You've got the man, Becky Lynch. She's coming from the UK. She's the tag team champion right now, a Hall of Famer in the not so distant future. Great commercial too, by the way, when with her and Seth Rollins, where he's acting like the Joker, and she's got the raspy voice, like, "She's back. I'm gonna go back to the Bat Cave." "Oh, I didn't know we had a Bat Cave." "You wouldn't, 'cause I'm the man." Oh, how awesome was that? Oh, man, that just made me start crying. That was funny. Another international woman would be, Neidhart, Natalia Neidhart, son or daughter of, one of my favorite wrestlers, why I wear my beard the way I do. Um, and I have a couple of Jim the Anvil Neidhart um, figures and of one of his T-shirts. So good stuff there. Trish Stratus, just not just a Hall of Famer, not just a international icon who has been there, done that. Got put through the table by Bully, and he was Bubba back then, but just like phenomenal, performer. But she ushered in what women's wrestling is now. I mean, the match with her and Lita, main eventing Monday Night Raw, which was the absolute first time. Obviously not. Well, I don't want to compare the two significance. The significance of both of the events, but you had two African American women main event of WrestleMania, which, that match was just a barn burner. And oh man, that was just awesome. And um, there's just so many other women that ushered in the era that we're in now. You start back with the how we had women as they would get involved with the extracurriculars as the managers or the valets. You had the baby dolls and the preciouses of the world, and slowly started to develop into in-ring characters, and it wasn't just a piece of arm candy. They were actually contributing to the entertainment value of a show, so much more than a bra and panties match. That, thank goodness that era has, been ushered away. And you take another woman that is could we say hmm, what's a good word for what Jade Cargill is? She's certainly on her own level right now. 56-0, I think. But the creativity and the leeway that she has with that TBS title, beautiful title, by the way. The leeway that she has with that character and the gear every time she comes in, her gear is phenomenal. Looks completely different and has a really cool theme. I really dug the Thundercats and I think it was Lion-O or Schnirf. It was Schnirf. It was either Lion-O or Schnirf was the character that she was depicting. But gear looked great. Thought it was totally entertaining. Her athleticism super intimidating. Just fantastic. Then you have some legit badass performers that happen to be wrestlers, that happen to be women, with that MMA background. That super cool how they've made the transition and have a few world titles amongst them with Shayna Baszler, who was one of the most dominant figures in NXT, and hopefully they, get all that figured out, and she can start winning titles that she should. I think they'll walk out her and Ronda Rousey, the most dangerous woman on the planet. Her and Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey leaving WrestleMania the tag team champions. I think that's legit. I think that's going to go down. Medusa was another one, just a very dominant physical character that um, very controversial too when she threw the title away. I think that will live in wrestling infamy for a long time. You had some legit athletes that moved into professional wrestling. Trish Stratus, she did um, bodybuilding and fitness model, gymnastics. Now she's just a, you know, um, super, like, she's just a badass. And she'll be at WrestleMania with the 6 woman match, which will be an absolute barn burner, and probably will come out a victor over there. Gail Kim, when her and Awesome Kong had that feud in TNA, woof, that was a good one. Probably next to China, the most physically dominant woman, prior to the Jade Cargills and the Rhea Ripleys, has to be Beth Phoenix. I mean, you look at her at Elimination Chamber, man, just awesome. They did the Royal Rumble a couple years ago, and she was in that. Got her head just cracked open. Didn't even bat an eye. She's like, whatever. You've got, if she ever comes back, Mandy Rose is another one. She just laid it down, completely reinvented herself, and wasn't just a pretty face with blonde hair, you know, but just an awesome champion last year. And I really hope that, she makes her way back into a wrestling ring. or, something that would, be able to show off her athleticism. I think she's doing um, some physical training or something right now while she's fielding offers. I'm sure every other wrestling organization is backing the Brinks truck up. I know if I was a wrestling organization, I would, and I was starting a women's division, I would back the truck up to Raquel. I would back the truck up to Gail Kim to be my commissioner. Soraya, she's back, another international wrestler. You have the women's champion in AEW in Hayter. Hmm, just a massively awesome, athletic, so charismatic too on the microphone. And I think that gets missed how the especially lately with the levels that everybody's raising the promos to, and it isn't just the guys, the Romans and the Codys and the emotional, turmoil that you're feeling on the microphone, and the Seth Rollins with the ha ha ha, that crackle laugh. But the promos that the women are getting slowly more involved in, I I still think we have a long way to go to improve the storylines, but every day we get a little bit better. So I think we just have to listen a little bit more, and use those same creative juices on a storyline with just another wrestler, not just another wrestler, but another wrestler. Just imagine the story that you could build if you were to put a faction together in the same vein that Legacy rolled in with Cody Rhodes, Orton, and Flair, and just like instant legitimacy because they're all, you know, um, second generation, third generation, and in RKO. If hopefully he makes it back in there. But you look at where Judgment Day is now. It's only because Rhea Ripley is the she's the freaking cleaner. She's the one that's keeping ex-con Dom from getting his head pushed in because she's just a dominant figure, and that mommy character I think is absolutely hilarious when she body slammed um the OC guys. Man, she took a spear a little bit later on against Beth Phoenix that probably would have crippled anyone else, but she still comes out and wins the money in the or not the money in the bank, but the women's battle royal, and became the number one contender. Michelle McCool, she was another good one that has definitely stood the test of time, and the product that she had during her era, I don't think discredited her and her title runs. Now that the we've done away with the Divas division and now it's the women's division, I think that definitely makes it much more credible. Again, you have the Jamie Hayters, the Jordan Graces. Of course, we wouldn't be anywhere without the Mae Youngs and Good, Bad, or Indifferent, the Fabulous Moolahs. I think the Wendy Richters, the Rockin' Robins. I think that's super cool. And a woman that I think should have been in the Hall of Fame years and years and years ago, Jazz. Now, Jazz, you had Molly Holly, you had Serena Deeb, way before their time, way, way before their time. And just to think the physicality that they performed with was, on par, I think, with what Lita and Trish did for women's wrestling. And you had, we've got the May Classic every couple of years. I think that's super awesome. And without that, you wouldn't have the Marisas, you wouldn't have the Britt Bakers. You know, Rhea Ripley, that's how she was, discovered. You've got the Roxanne Perez down in NXT. She came up through the ranks with Booker T. You have the Nyla Roses over there in AEW. Red Velvet is starting to really cut her teeth, and love her, hate her, she gets on the mic, say whatever you want. The Carmellas of the world. That's almost on par with Vicky Guerrero. Excuse me. But you wouldn't, you definitely wouldn't be where we are with women's wrestling without some of the controversial figures. So I really am super excited to see what Bianca Belair and Asuka are going to do. What Brickhouse is going to do, and NWA. She's another one that's just really really dominant. um, there's so many more I know I'm missing, and I'm gonna of get off camera and go, oh, I forgot to mention this wrestler and this wrestler. And for that I apologize. There's so many that we're not bringing to light, but I'll definitely make a better showing in the coming weeks during this month. So happy Women's Appreciation Month. Yet on the 8th of March was International Women's Appreciation Day. Hopefully, all the women got appreciated properly. And without saying, super, super impressed with where women's wrestling is going. Looking forward to what we're going to do in the future. Even Tony Khan is doing better, and a 2-hour show, not bringing him out at 122 and doing a pitcher and pitcher match pretty much. The last couple of episodes have been significantly better, so kudos to them. And I'm really, really impressed with what's going on over in Japan with New Japan having a women's champion, and they have an entirely their own organization for women's wrestling. So really pumped what we're going to see going forward. So with that, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please follow us wherever you get your podcasts, or on any socials at No Shave Man Cave. I'm ElliJare, and we'll see you on the floor.